Yo, 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 yo. Getting fly with the Black Dahlia Murder discography. This time, talking about Deflorate from 2009, Metal Blade Records. And let's dive into this pussy.
Someone commented on the video, said nice yellow pants. These pants aren't actually yellow, they're tan, it's just the lighting makes them look yellow. I wouldn't wear yellow pants. Just to clear that up.
What's your thoughts on Deflorate?
That one guy asked. I think it was when a lot of people will say the Black Dahlia Murder really started to kick off with Nocturnal, but I think the inception of this band, how it is now, really started a lot with Deflorate, such as the coming aboard of Ryan Knight, coming aboard the old ship, and strangely enough, it was at a time Brian, I think, was on this album. I remember hearing before with Ritual, the writing started to be a little bit more 50-50, where Deflorate, you think, oh, Ryan Knight's coming on, where he did bring a style of guitar playing that was a bit more intelligent. Not that Brian or the guitarist or the guitarists in general are dumb, and it's just a more well written out, intelligent style of playing with a know-how of, this and that, and to bring that aboard with soloing and lead guitaring and everything. But Brian was still there with a lot of his crusty, nasty sounding riffage, and I'm glad that not that wouldn't be there, but that was still that came over from Nocturnal and the band's past life and everything, and really it was Brian still wrote from what I remember quite a bit of this album, and some pretty heavy tearing it up riffs. Which was Nocturnal was just mostly that, I think. But when you get to this, like the addition of Ryan Knight brought this melody. I don't think his solo was like the best. I don't think he was at the top of his game in his prime. I don't think he was like Cleveland Cavaliers LeBron James on this album. Like, he was still good, and he knew he was only going to get better, but he still never won a championship. But yeah, you get to see the talent in Ryan Knight and everything. And songs like I Will Return and Eyes of a Thousand, different parts in those songs will have this clear taste of Ryan Knight that there's more of that to come in the future. But where you see it on this album, it added a nice bit of, like I said, melody and over top of this bit of a shiny thing over top of Brian's crustiness. However weird that sounds. Because that's what it is, Ryan Knight does. He writes some crusty riffs, but a lot of what he's known for, what you think about Ryan Knight, you think of these shiny, white, clean, sparkly, solos and leads and stuff. But you saw a couple signs of that. And where Trevor goes, I thought it was kind of a bit of an improvement, if you could say that. The changes from Nocturnal to this album is he began to harness his higher screams a bit more. Not that they were all over the place, but he began to bring them in and mold them into this more of a sturdy, cleaner, the edges have been rounded sound. Whereas on Nocturnal, they were still very raw. And that definitely gave more of that raw feeling to Nocturnal. And the production, I think, stepped up on this album a little bit to kind of go along with Trevor coming into his own and, really sanding the edges of his vocal sounds and everything. So I think that's kind of the main message of this album that you could take from it, just looking at it, is that things began to get more with the addition of Ryan Knight and with Trevor, kind of, bringing in his vocals and harnessing and taming them is what I was kind of alluding to. It's a bit more of a better, more modern effort, you could say. Whereas albums, not that Nocturnal isn't modern, it's just albums like Nocturnal that have this raw feeling to them feel older than what they really are. I think it gives that impression. And with Trevor, I think this is really... He had some good songs on Nocturnal, but this is where you kind of, at least for me, looking back at it, is where it started to be more specifics in his storytelling, if you will, such as I Will Return being about being cryogenically frozen, and hold on a second here, I forgot the name of this song. I have a song that's brought up here. A Selection of Naturals about a deformed child being born, and what's the one? That Which Erodes the Most Tender. I always need to look that one up. About a child dying and the mother still wanting to take care of it, and just some creepy stuff that is a bit more specific, rather than songs like Necropolis and Black Valor, and even today, songs like Into the Everblack, which is more about this general place or war, if you will, that is just like an evil place where justice is served, but not in the brightest and shiniest way. Or songs about just a war going on in a very bad place, or just bad things happening. We began with some specifics, I think. And like songs like Eyes of a Thousand being about, I think, probably a succubus or something like that, began to get more into the specifics of lyrical meaning and stuff. And really, I think this is kind of where it began to take off a bit, to where you see the Black Dahlia Murder as they are now, with like Whenever Black, with songs being so specific to, whether it be ritual songs like songs about Gilda Ray, or Ever Black, Jeffrey Dahmer, began to get into specifics and move into this modern Black Dahlia Murder. It was, I think, the first big step.
Yeah, I think Sam really hit it on the head as this album, I feel, is the more modern the Black Dahlia Murder. And I say the Black Dahlia Murder has never really changed their style or their sound that much. They've always stuck to, this very energetic, upbeat, melodic death metal style of, metal, and with just extremely crunchy riffs, lots of thrash influence in there and stuff. But I think it's more of, I listen to Miasma or Nocturnal, and, something felt weird about them, and I can't really put my finger on it as of right now. But then I listen to Deflorate, and I feel that they just got so much better. The Black Dahlia Murder, the best thing about them in my eyes is that they get better and better and better with each album. There's definite improvement. And it's not really that the improvement comes with experimenting or drastically expanding their sound. It just, they literally take their songwriting and they fine-tune it better and better and better, and they get a better and better production. And that's when, Nocturnal has this very muddy sounding guitar tone, whereas Deflorate has a more modern sounding guitar tone, or more modern, compared to Ritual or Into the Everblack or whatever, or Everblack, sorry. So yeah, and right away, this album just literally punches you right in the face with the song Black Valor. How it just opens up with a very awesome guitar riff and then just blast beats out the ass. Shannon Lucas is an amazing drummer. And right here, this album really showcases his drumming, and just lots of blast beats out the ass, and very great footwork, and that's something that I've always appreciated about Shannon Lucas and his drumming is just his footwork is just off the charts. Everything about his drumming is just off the charts, and there's a lot of really good drum performances on this album. Now, one thing I see, I know a lot of people like Nocturnal the most out of the Black Dahlia Murders records, and I honestly find Nocturnal to blend really badly. And some songs stick out, but then, other songs, they just really, really sound the same. And I feel here, when I listen to Deflorate and then Ritual and then Ever Black is up to modern day, each song really stands out. And here, even more songs started to stand out, at least to me, where, upon first listen, I would instantly, recognize how that song went, and then when I went back to it, without even looking at the track listing and being like, oh, what track is this? What number is that? I knew the name of it, and that's another reason why this album I feel is more, of a slight transition for the Black Dahlia Murder. Their songwriting, I feel, while they're still an extreme band, and they're not, your grandma would not listen to the Black Dahlia Murder and be like, oh, yeah, I like that.
She might.
Maybe. Who knows? I feel that they became a little bit more accessible with this album and that their songs became more and more recognizable. I Will Return, it's slightly expanding their sound just a little bit, but also fine-tuning it at the same time, adding that little bit of melody. I think that also is because of Ryan Knight. Because of his guitar playing abilities, I think Ryan and Brian, what a combo! They work really well together, and later on when we talk about their other albums, it just gets better and better, and that's what I feel about the Black Dahlia Murder. They get better and better and better as the band really works together. With Trevor, his vocals are good on here, and I feel that this is just another stepping stone to where he is now, in that, he like the rest of the band, is fine-tuning his sound and how he does things, instantly hitting that switch and switching from a guttural low vocal to a very high-pitched shriek, and that's awesome. I always get the scream in I Will Return stuck in my head, right after the intro, the very melodic intro, when they transition to the very, thrashy riff, when it's just like, wah! I always get that stuck in my head all the time, and I don't know why. But there's a lot of good songs on here that I feel are standouts in the Black Dahlia Murders discography. Black Valor, Necropolis, A Selection, Unnatural, really are good. Eyes of a Thousand, Christ Deformed is another one, and I Will Return. It's probably the most standout one on here. It's just the riffs. I mean, that is the Black Dahlia Murder, and what they are best at is writing riffs, and there is a fuckload of riffs on here that are really, really good. It's just an overall very solid release, and I think it's one of Black Dahlia Murder's best for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing about Trevor. He's never, out of recent memory, he's never been bad. It's just he fine-tunes, like Tyler said, to get, to another place. And some people may think that's better. Some people may want the more raw sound, but he's never been bad. I think it's just he fine tunes it, and along with the production of the music has been elevated, and he's on another level right now. He's LeBron James, Miami Heat. Not right now, last year.
2011, almost there.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people, when it comes to the Black Dahlia Murder, somewhat overlook this album, in that they'll go, Nocturnal's my favorite, and then they'll just jump to Ritual as being just an amazing beast. But don't overlook this album when you're getting into Black Dahlia Murder, because it has a lot of really, really solid songs on it. This is the first Black Dahlia Murder I ever listened to and ever bought, so it has a place in my heart when it comes to this band. So, last thoughts? Score? What'd you give this out?
I don't think we ever reviewed this. I
think we
give
did
it like
either.
a good 8 out of 10.
Yeah, me too. 8 out of 10 is where I'm at with this as well. So, check out the other reviews in the discography and look out for Ritual. We probably won't do Everblack, or redo it, I guess, because we already did that. So check that one out, and we'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.
That's